Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, November 8th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's take a look at what we got here in the ES. Today is election day in America, so there's a lot of people that are going to be voting today. I suspect that today's market will probably be quite dull as a result, very similar to what we had yesterday, sort of a tight range, just kind of grinding around. Also very similar to what we had in the overnight last night. Just because, you know, there's a lot of information to be found out when the voting is done at the end of the day today. And of course, a lot of those races, we won't even get the results until tomorrow or in the days to come. So I don't suspect there's going to be anything crazy in the markets today unless some kind of crazy news comes out as a result. But for the moment, the momentum is to the upside. We have a trend up on the daily, 2 days in a row, higher highs, higher lows, and value overlapping to higher. That increases the odds that that momentum will continue to the upside today. We're also opening with a gap up. That also increases the odds that that momentum will continue to the upside today. So the first thing we're watching for is a gap fill. That is the market at the open pushing its way down towards yesterday's high at 38.22. If it can find support there, or it can't even get down to there and it finds support above, that is a gap and go, which is the most bullish scenario. If we do not find support at yesterday's high, it would make a lot of sense to me for the market to pull back and try to repair some of this weakness it left behind yesterday. So if we do not find support at yesterday's high, I'm targeting a repair of 38.09. So first order of business is the gap filled. There you go. The gap is filled. Now, do we get support right here around yesterday's high? Please smash that like button. Pump the likes, pump them up as the market is pumping. All right, so lack of support at yesterday's high means it is not a gap and go. So now I'm looking to repair the weak reference we left behind at 38.09 and see, is that enough to bring in the buyers? A repair, then the market turns around and heads back up. If we do not get support once that level is repaired, we can look for support at the base of the single prints from the J period yesterday, which is right at 3,800. And then if this isn't enough for support, we test this. If this isn't enough for support, then we look to repair the next week reference. Remember, there's a very high probability that once the market gets back to the zero line, we will find support. Because of the gap, the trend higher on the daily. The bulls are in charge of the market right now. So once we've had a chance to absorb all that overnight activity, there will likely be buyers waiting. Support somewhere in here. It's important not to let the fact that you don't get a gap and go make you believe that there's no momentum. There's still bullish momentum. Just wasn't quite enough to get it going right out of the open. So it would make sense to repair some weakness first and look for buyers there. It's also worth noting that the A period high here is weak. Not only did they not really get a chance to have any kind of continuation of the auction up, but it was all sellers at the high there. So once the market finds support, there's a little magnet to pull on price. Okay, so no surprise there. Right as we get back to the fairest price to do business from the overnight, that is the point of control from the overnight, we also got ourselves right back to the zero line on the ticks. So right when we got back to the fairest price is where we got back to, the overnight inventory being neutral. So now is where we get to see, do the buyers defend? If the ticks, it's okay for the ticks to poke below the zero line while the market is looking for support, but they should very quickly pop back up above it if the momentum is still in the market, that momentum that caused the trend. So we'll keep an eye on those ticks. Looking for support. John, your analogy's a bit misweighed here. I'm holding your banner hostage. It's my banner. Look at me, John. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Okay. Speaking of which, 95 likes. Pump the likes. Pump them up. Bring the buyers into the market. Bam. Broke 100. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. As far as a banner, right now at this moment, I would say neutral, but I'm very, very close to getting bullish here. I just basically want to see the market find some support. I'd love to repair 3809, find some support, and then I will get bullish. Javier, single prints get repaired during the regular trading hours, not after hours? Correct, yeah. So these single prints that we left behind from yesterday in the J period, it's a little messy right now because I got drawing on top of drawing, but you see that little yellow line? Those remain weak right now. Even though the overnight came down and found support at the base, we have to do it in the regular trading hours for it to count. Man, the sellers are having to work really, really hard to try to push this market down. They should be able to get this repair of 3809, though. Got some scalping bots at work here today. 600 short, 600 long. 600 short, 300 long, 300 long. All right. Well, that is bullish. That is support, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're looking to see, do they turn the halfback into resistance? 38.19. I stand corrected. Chilling with Dylan is curious to see what the overnight price action brings with news-driven bots as the election results come out. Yeah, I bet it'll be an interesting overnight. You're right. But the question is it going to be a boring day leading up to that overnight? Scooball, when do you have first results? Not until tonight, like late tonight. And a lot of places just won't because they do mail in. But what we will have is exit polls end of day today. We all know how reliable those are. And recreational marijuana is up for vote in my state, Maryland. So what you're saying is you voted for legal weed today? Ed, just another buy the rumor, sell the news? No. I don't know what would be the rumor. Screwball, is it a battle or only bots? To me right now, it feels like bots. It doesn't really feel like a battle. I'll be wrong if when they push back up, they get through the halfback. 38.20. If this does not act as resistance, then this was good support. Looking for continuation of the momentum. But we can test that halfback as a final confirmation. Looking for resistance there. All right. Well, I'm bullish. That's support. They're back through the halfback. Oops, put up the wrong banner. Sorry, guys. That's, pushing back through the halfback is a sign that this is real support, real buyers in here. So the next question is, can they push back above yesterday's high, 38.22, and find support there? If they do find support up here above 38.22, I'll look to test the overnight high at 38.35. I will stay bullish as long as we remain inside the overnight range. But I would, like to see us stay above 38.17 from this point on. And of course, we'd like to see those ticks stay above the zero line, right? The sellers did so much work to try to break that zero line. And as soon as they did, the buyers came in. So we want to see that continue to hold here as a sign that we have momentum on the side of the bulls. Okay, so now we're back above yesterday's high, looking for support here around 23 for continuation. Narnan. Cryptocurrencies hit hard from the collapse of FTT token. Were they? Were they really hit hard? Last I looked, it was like back to 20,000. Oh, yeah, you're right. Back to test the support once again. Are the buyers waiting here like they recently have been? Over and over again. Support has been waiting to buy the Bitcoin there. Gotta love a good pump and dump. Chilling with Dylan? I did. It's a Mitch Ray thing. All right, here we go. Looking for the support, looking to keep those ticks above the zero line. Can they hold it? All right, first potential support, yesterday's high, 38.22. Can that hold? Scooball, those iceberg bot areas are a great signal to not trade it. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. When you get those crazy moments where, it's like bot versus bot in a really tight range like that, just to kind of give it some time. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Bot versus bot. Whose algorithm is superior? Okay, so that was support at yesterday's high. So now we want to push back through the opening price and repair the weak high we left behind in the A period. Looking to go test that overnight. So this support here should get us to poke above there, and that should bring in the momentum to poke above there. Thor. Lots of poking going on. But who's poking who? Are the buyers poking at the resistance? Or are the sellers poking at the support? My vote is it's the buyers winning. James, today is VWAP, tomorrow is VWAC. So today, tight range, tomorrow, massive move. All right, well, so far, Bookmap is telling us the larger players are accumulating short up here and that the buyers are more stops, right? So they were people who were short that are getting squeezed and are being forced to go long, and the larger positions are building short. So that's very interesting in the poking theory. That would imply the sellers are the stronger hands. But I'm still on the side of the buyers here. What that does make me think, though, is I still think we're going to test the overnight high at 38.35, but that likely we won't have new buyers up there. Likely we'll just kind of poke above there and then pull back down. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Well, what was becoming support is now becoming resistance. This area just below the opening price. I do believe the sellers are trying to start taking control of the market here. Laser focused on those ticks. Traders Global LLC says, hello, sir. How many contracts do you take per trade? So the way I choose my position size is based on the distance between the entry and the stop. So let's say, for example, I wanted to buy the market right now. I wanted to buy the overnight high, and I wanted to put my stop down here below this node of volume right here. So I wanted to go long at 22 and put my stop at, just for simplicity of math, let's say 12. Well, then I know I'm risking 10 points of risk. So then I'll ask myself, where is my reward? If the trade goes my way, I'm looking to test the overnight high. So that's 38.35. So I'm basically taking on 10 points of risk to potentially make 12 points of reward. That's not a setup I would normally take, but let's just say hypothetically I wanted to jump into that trade. I would then figure out how much would 10 points of loss be to my account size per contract. And then I keep it under 2%. So the idea is I enter however many contracts here. 10 points equals 2% of my account. The idea is every single trade I get in, no matter what, I am always taking on the exact same amount of risk. I'm always only ever risking 2% of my account. And so emotionally, I'm not affected by the risk. I'm used to it. Every trade I ever take, I take that amount of risk. So I'm used to the risk side of it. So then any emotions I feel about the trade, once I'm in it, so for example, I enter a trade and I feel very nervous and uncertain and uncomfortable, I know that's not because of a sizing issue. It's not that I got in with too big of a size. It's that the setup isn't right. That's what I don't trust. So it's just one more way to manage your emotions. If your risk is always exactly the same, then the only emotions you could feel are about the trade itself working out or not. Thomas, do you ever add risk? I only add to winners, so I never ever add to losers. And I only add to winners. But yeah, so like let's take that same trade idea. Let's say I get in at yesterday's high. I got my stop down here. I'm looking to take profits at the overnight high. Well, let's say I'm watching the ticks and the market is pushing, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I bet you that we're not going to stop here. I think we're going to push above. We're going to find support and continue higher. What I will often do is either take partial profits here and then hold a runner to see if we can keep going, or I'll take profits here and then add to the trade. So it's like you get in here, you take profits here, it pushes up, it comes back down, it's finding support at the same level, I'll get back in again. So if, let's say, I hold a runner, I take partial profits, I might add to it there to increase the risk. Or if I completely took profits, I may re-enter the trade there to take on risk once again. That's as close to adding risk as I get. And there's also, let's say, hypothetically, I get into a trade. Let's say I go long right here, and the market pushes higher and it starts trending like this. Sometimes I'll add to that at a higher level if I think the trend is going to keep going, but I will still only be risking 2%. What I'll do is I'll move my stop up so that now with the new position size, the average of the two entries together is still only 2% of risk. And by the way, I'm not like super hardcore about the numbers being exact. It's just generally about 2% is what I know how many contracts I can trade. I don't actually break out a calculator every trade. All right, there's a repair of the week high. We also have initial balance to the upside, which is a little bit bullish to see. Philip, what do I consider being the beginning of the day? When the market opens at 9:30. So it's U.S. hours, 9:30 to 4 p.m. New York. That's my regular trading hours, and everything else I consider overnight. Scooball says, not much emotions in this market. There was a little bit of a liquidation earlier in the A period, but yeah, you're right. It's very robotic. Thomas Shelby, institutions waiting for their insider info before they start piling into positions. I'm pretty sure even they have to just watch the news. It's like, county by county, the results come out. There's nothing to do but wait. Although you'll get an idea, now that I think about it, you'll have an idea pretty early on what the momentum is. Like I said, just from the exit polls, you'll be able to tell by the end of the day today. Peter, do I trade all day or do I avoid lunchtime? I'll trade any time, although to be honest, I generally tend to take much fewer trades in the afternoon. Most of my best trades are in the first couple hours or the last hour. But if there's a trade, I'll take it. All right, there's the test of the overnight high. So now the question once again, can we bring in new buyers up here like we did with yesterday's high? It was a lot of grinding, but what we ended up doing was creating support above yesterday's high, right? That's what we had to do in order to get the momentum to get up here to the overnight high. We now need to do that again up here. So the question is, can we turn the overnight high into support for continuation higher? If not, the market will likely pull back down into the range. Next major resistance above around 38.47. But first we have to see if we get support up here at the overnight high. All right, so testing that overnight high, looking for that support. Can they hold it? The gold is pumping, the dollar is dropping, people are voting. The ticks are testing the zero line. What's going to happen today? Nobody knows. No one can say. All right, support at the overnight high seems to be failing. So now we're looking to pull back down towards the opening price. Looking for support somewhere between about 38.26 and 38.24. This is one of those moments where they can dip the ticks below the zero line, but when they get back to support, they need to push them back above if they're going to keep this momentum going. All right. Well, that is support at the overnight high. So we have bullish momentum, folks. They are holding it. Next major resistance, 38.45-ish. Obviously, the next thing we're looking for, we print the C period here in about a minute. So we're looking for the C period to push above that B period high. Once it does that, the market is one time framing higher, which is another signal of momentum. So let's just walk through what we have so far this morning. We have a when what should happens doesn't. Down here, we should have been able to repair this weak reference and we didn't. That is bullish. Okay. From there, we were able to push above yesterday's high and find support. That was bullish. Okay. Then we were able to test the overnight high, and now we're finding support up here, which is bullish. Okay. And if the C period starts to push above the B period high, we are also one time framing, which is bullish. Okay. So there's some bullish signals here, folks. If they can hold this momentum, they can keep it pumping. So I'm looking for support to hold right here around 38.35 for continuation to the upside, or pull back down towards the halfback, looking for support at 38.25. I remain bullish anywhere above yesterday's high, 38.22. Okay. So anywhere above here, I'm good for continuation to the upside. If we start to break back down into yesterday's range, that would be the sign the momentum is over. Or if the ticks start to break below the zero line and stay there, that would be a sign the momentum is over. With that, I bid you farewell. I wish you all the best. I mean, it's only $10, guys, for just $10. Less than a single tick. One single tick from the same guy that told you to get bullish here for a test of this, which was, 8 points higher. That same guy, you could listen to him talk to you all day, every day. And all you have to do is get a single tick of profit to pay for it. $10 membership. You might consider joining. Speaking of which, those of you that have, let's head on over to the private stream. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks a lot.